Hey, my little sinners and saints. Hope everybody's doing well. Today we're going to be looking at the case of Brandon Lawson. This case has been around for a while, and there's still no conclusive evidence. I'll go ahead and tell you. No conclusive evidence of what happened to him. This is Brandon Lawson. He was 26 years old, and on August 8th, 2013, around 1 o'clock, he had spoke to a few people, called 911, and he went missing, and there's still to this day no evidence of him. This is his longtime girlfriend. Um, I'm going to read a little bit here. There was a call. He had a felony warrant, and he had it for 2 years. There was something that Brendan actually, the call is pretty terrifying. That the thing that Brendan actually had a felony warrant out for, his arrest, he was more scared of versus running into whomever or whatever was out there that night. Um, he called the law, excuse me, he called and they asked, "Do you need an ambulance?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "The police." So he was wanting the police there versus, getting in trouble and going back to jail. And everybody's like, "Oh, he would have took care of it." Um, he didn't take care of it for 2 years, so I don't know. But still, he was more scared of whatever was out there than going back to jail. It said that the day that he went missing, him and his girlfriend had got into a argument. He had left to go to his father's house, which was over 3 hours away. He worked in an oil field in Texas, and the 911 call. It's hard to understand the 911 call. This is his brother Kyle. He had actually called Kyle and told him he was out of gas. So Kyle told him that he would bring him gas, and so he had called the girlfriend and told her that he needed a gas can because he thought he had one, but he didn't. And so she left the gas can outside, and he went by to get the gas can. When he got to the little mart, he realized he didn't have no money, so he thought he would go get Brandon, bring him back, get gas, and he could pay for it, and then take him back to his truck. And so whenever he got out to where his truck was, there was no Brandon. The girlfriend did say that she left her phone plugged in the vehicle because that's the only one that she had. So I'd like to know a timeline of when, because it doesn't say when this call was put through. Because if she didn't get none of the other phone calls that was made to her, then how did she get that one? But that's neither here or there. Now, whenever he gets out there and he's talking to the cops at this point, because there's actually two 911 calls. The other one was saying that there was a truck sitting crooked on the road. And crooked is a word. And it was sitting, a little bit out the road and then off the road. And so the cops were there. And so Kyle's talking to him and he gets a call from Brandon and he says that he can see him, but he's off in the woods. And so he didn't know that Brandon had called the law, or he probably had, said something about it. But anyway, he acted like he was talking to someone else, and he wasn't talking to Brandon, and didn't mention it to the law enforcement agency. This is where the truck was off the road. And this kind of gives you an idea of where there's a cross there now where they've put up in memorial of him. And this is Brandon's home. And there's two ways that he could have got to his father's house. Now, on the way to his father's house, the girlfriend said that she talked to him and told him, "Why don't you just go to your brother's house and cool off and, come back home tomorrow?" So he said he would do that. And that's the last time that she talked to him. Um, and this is the part where it says the 911 call is so bad you can not understand anything. There's been enhancements of it and everything. And you're like, oh, it says that. Well, there's 15 different things that it says, that it could be. So who knows exactly what was said that night. Um, it said, do you need an ambulance? No, I need a cop. Is anyone hurt? And she says hello three times. And that's whenever the phone call drops and 911 doesn't talk to him anymore. But that was his truck. That was his license number because they were, I don't know why they put his truck out. The truck wasn't damaged or anything. And that was his girlfriend, like I said. That's the memorial that they put up for him. And the next day, he was starting a new job, and he had been for years working in the oil fields in Texas, making good money. So I don't know if he was drinking or not. Um, I've got one story here where the details say that he wasn't on drugs. He used to be a drug addict, but he wasn't on drugs. And in every other story I hear, he was on drugs. So I can't say for sure if he was or he was not. Okay, brain finger, and I laugh and jest of brain fingerprinting. Um, it's a system of where it's a scientific technique which uses brain waves from an EEG to determine whether a person is stored like subjects in their cognitive memory. Um, they're going to show you pictures, they're going to show you words, and how your brain reacts. They can tell whether you're lying or not. Uh, a video that I watch all the time is always talking about brain fingerprinting, and it's got me interested in it. And I'm like, yeah, they should do that. But it does not detect or measure live stress or emotion. Um, it just detects the neurological behavior of the human brain, which in turn will detect live stress and emotion. But I had to throw that in there. Okay. On August 8, 2013, Brandon Lawson arrived at his house in San Angelo, Texas, where he lived with his girlfriend of 10 years, Ladessa Lofton. Between approximately 10:45 and 11 o'clock, Lawson and Lofton argued. Lawson had not returned home the night before, and Lofton believed that Lawson was on drugs at the time. This is what I'm saying, that every other research that I looked through or conduct is saying that he was still on drugs. At the time, Lawson had been in ongoing issues with substance abuse, but had been clean for 6 months. Lawson's brother, Kyle Lawson, later claimed Lawson had taken methamphetamine shortly before his disappearance around 11:30. Um, I don't know if maybe he went, took him to get him, or he did them with him, or what the case was of how he knew that. Brendan had taken methamphetamines shortly before his excuse me, his disappearance around 11:30. He called his father in Crawley, Texas, about 3 hours away from San Angelo, and told him he was coming to his house. At 11:54, Lawson left his house to go to his father's house, driving his silver Silverado F-150. And about 12:30 on August 9th, Lawson called Kyle and told him he had run out of gas and was pulled over on US Route 277 between San Angelo and Bronte, Texas. I guess that's where you say that. Kyle claimed that during the call, Lawson told him that there were three expletives are chasing me out of town, and later claimed that it was the Mexicans in the neighborhood. Um, I, being married to a Mexican, can probably guess what those expletives are, but I'm not going to say those. So use your imagination. Because there was a lot of drugs running through there. There was drugs running for sale, trafficking, everything. Even in the neighborhood and through US Route 277. Kyle asked if he was hallucinating, which Lawson denied. Kyle, along with his 4-year-old child, drove to Lawson's house and received a fuel container. Kyle said that he continued to make calls to each other, but Lawson wouldn't hold a conversation with him, usually ending the call after a few sentences. At 12:50, Lawson's called 911, which rang to a local nursing home in Robert Lee, Texas. That's very odd. Why would you call 911 and it go to a nursing home? And he told the responder that he had ran out of gas and needed the police. During this call, Lawson made several confused and incoherent hello statements, including, yes, I'm in the middle of a field, pulled some guys over right here along going toward Abilene on both sides. My truck ran out of gas. There's one car here. The guy's chasing me into the woods. Please hurry. Several minutes later, at 12:56, a trucker called 911 to report Lawson's truck that had been parked hazardous in a hazardous manner on the side of the road. It was crooked. That's what he meant to say. Between 12:50 and 1:15 a.m., Lawson received and made several calls to his brother, his girlfriend, his neighbor, and the 911 dispatcher. Um, though he only made one call to 911 dispatcher. Though his poor cell phone reception caused several of these calls to go straight to voicemail. And after 119, all calls to his phone went straight to voicemail. And around 118, Kyle called Lawson, who sounded out of breath and claimed he was bleeding. Shortly after 1 a.m., sheriff's deputy arrived at Lawson's truck, though Lawson was not there. Kyle arrived at the truck about 1:10. At the time, he was on his phone with Lawson, who told him, I can see you, I'm right here. But neither the deputy nor Kyle could see him. He didn't tell the deputy, so I don't know why he would say that. Um, At the time of the disappearance, Lawson had an active warrant on him, and Kyle thought that he might be hiding from the deputy. After talking to the officer, Kyle drove a short distance up the road and parked the car to wait for Lawson to appear. After 30 or 45 minutes, he left. Kyle left the gas can in the back of Lawson's truck and later returned to the truck at 5 a.m., where he was surprised that Lawson had not returned. Around 8, the truck was towed. In the aftermath of the disappearance, the local deputies organization search party spent several hours investigating the area near Lawson's truck, but no signs of Lawson was found. Friends and family set up a Facebook page, Help Find Brendan Lawson, which as of 2022 had over 26,000 likes. On February 4th, 2022, Lawson's family reported on the Help Find Brendan Lawson's Facebook page. The search party had located clothing identified as Lawson's near the last known location, and the Texas Rangers had said, I'm not even trying that word. I have trouble with that word, and I'm not looking no more stupider than I already do. Conducted a search of the area and found human remains. DNA results are not complete as of December 2023, but the remains are expected to be Lawson's. I don't know they wouldn't be, why they wouldn't be, the stuff conducted. It don't make sense to me. But let's listen to the 911 call. I probably should have had this pulled up, but I didn't. So here we go. True Crime Garage TV. Go sub up. It sounds like on that one part he says, no, I ran into him. And when it's enhanced, you can hear people saying, watch yourself or something other in the background. Like I said, there's so many versions of it, but it sounds to me like he says, no, I ran into him. Okay. This is just talking about that it's been 10 years. They still haven't found, they found the remains, but there still haven't been any answers. Um, DNA's been doing testing on the remains, and they're trying to preserve them so that they could do possibly future, DNA testing on them. So hopefully they'll figure it out one day. I don't know what the problem is. I will give an update on this one, and because I want to know what the problem is. I probably should look that up. But it just seems odd to me that this man disappeared and all this went on, and there was nothing that nobody could find of anything except his vehicle. But thank you for watching, and as always, I'll talk to you later. Bye.